What is going on, people? We need to talk about this. Jai Opetaia is an absolute madman. That guy is a problem. Welcome back to another video. Like, share, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. My voice is a bit deep. I've been teaching lately and kind of losing my voice, but I'm here still wanting to talk about some boxing. Jai Opetaia versus David Nyaka. I believe how you say it. Absolutely amazing. Jai Opetaia is one of my favorite fighters, and he just proved why. This guy is an absolute animal. Like, the fight was such a good fight. David was talking a lot of good game in his pre-fight warm-up, so on and so forth. And to be honest with you, I actually like the fact that he was talking a lot. He seemed to still keep it quite respectful to Jai, acknowledge that Jai is #1. He is the head honcho at cruiserweight. He's bringing some glamour back to the cruiserweight division. David also brought up a couple of little sparring stories. I didn't actually get to see the video, annoyingly. But I think he posted a video of him sparring Jai and said that he got the better of Jai in a few rounds of sparring. And I actually don't really understand why anyone does this. I mean, there's some stuff you might be able to take from sparring, and only if you completely outclass that person. But even then, if you're brought in as a sparring partner, you don't know what that person's going through at that moment. They could have just done 10 rounds. Even if they're fresh, they could be nursing an injury. Anything can happen in sparring. I've had some spars with people who have gotten the better of me in sparring, not necessarily better, not really, but who have done better in sparring with me than they should do, just because it just was like that in that round in particular. Sometimes the very next round, I light them up, you know, sometimes I don't, and it's the very next day I do maybe. It just happens, it's one of those things. So I don't know why professional boxers put so much, I don't know, into it if they're gonna fight that opponent. I understand it a little bit, but it's a bit weird if you ask me. And obviously, there's so much times that we can see where this is not the case. Daniel Dubois and Hrgovic, even though Daniel Dubois did hurt AJ in sparring, I think that AJ got the better of him in most of those sparring sessions. And then look how that fight turned out, you know. And now we have it again with Jai Opetaia and David Nyaka. Like, anyway, another 6'6" cruiserweight slain at the sword of Jai Opetaia. This guy is a scary guy, man. I feel like he is, like I said, he's one of my favorite boxers for a couple of reasons. Number one, his boxing ability and IQ it's great. Understanding of range, understanding the distance, which actually in this fight, if anyone didn't get to see it, didn't need to really come into play as much, because Nyaka was talking, like I said, quite well in the build-up. He said he wanted to come forward and have a dogfight, and I feel like, do not say that to Jai Opetaia. You know, that's up his alley. But because he's got such good boxing ability, I feel like people don't realize, I think what he really wants to do is hurt you. He's got a mean streak, another reason that he's one of my favorites. He didn't really need to box at range because Nyaka was coming forward and actually really wanted to have that dogfight and get dragged into it. Opetaia hurt him in the first round quite a lot, actually. Then in the second round, the end of the second round, Nyaka actually hurt Jai with a backhand, buzzed him a little bit, but then Jai's reaction was that of a madman. He smiled, hit down with his gum shield, and looked happy to be hurt. And he was hurt. It wasn't just a little touch. He was not hurt, but he was buzzed. His legs went a little bit. He went for the clinch and he liked it. So that's a worrying sign if you're his opponent. And then in the third round, Nyaka put the pressure on a little bit more. Jai's backs was on the ropes at the end of the third round. And then Nyaka did something a little bit cheeky, kind of gave him a little pat on the head right at the end of the round. And I thought, you're gonna pay for that. And that he did. In the fourth round, Jai ends the show. Devastating knockout, devastating. He knocked Nyaka down in the fourth round, really made him pay. Upon getting back up, Nyaka was not really there. Fighting very good, trying to be defensive, kept his hands up, tried to keep Jai off of him, and he kept throwing his lead hook, trying to counter Jai as he came in. But Jai's just too clever, understands how to manage that distance, not bouncing in and out like he was in his last fight, but just understanding just to be just outside the range while pressuring you and moving forward while you're moving backwards, not falling into his shots. It was beautiful to see. Nyaka kept trying for that lead hook, and just on that last time, Jai beat him to it for a short lead hook inside Nyaka's long lead hook. Clipped him on the head. He got dazed, sent into the ropes, clinging to the ropes for life, and Jai finishes the show. I think it was a backhand and an uppercut, or it might have been a lead hand and an uppercut. It was absolutely horrible of a knockout. To see Nyaka was on the floor for a while, completely unconscious, needed oxygen, similar to how we saw Zorro. It was gruesome, and that's why I love Jai Opetaia. I think he's a real special one. Killer instinct in him, as well as the boxing ability, is something that we haven't really seen in a while, I don't believe. You know, I mean, we do see it, actually, I'm lying to you. Terence Crawford is someone that springs to mind, and even Gervonta Davis, even though I think he's a bit of a fraud, but I feel like his skills are good. He's just not fighting the right people, but he has the skills and he has a killer instinct. Jai is a little bit, for me, a little bit more killer. He's like a shark. It's weird. It's scary. What's next for him? He needs Ramirez. Just let my man unify. I know none of the cruiserweights want to fight this guy. CBS, I won't say Ross running for him or anything like that, but he did. He wanted to fight Zerdo first before fighting Jai and lost his belt. I don't blame him. You know, that was a harder fight. But now Zerdo's got it. If Golden Boy try and pull any nonsense and do not let Jai fight, man, we have to get on him. And then next up after that, our last person we got to deal with, Usyk, coming back into the picture. That's like, while I think Usyk is amazing, he probably will pull out the win. I don't want it to be age that catches up with him. Because like I said, Usyk is, in another video, he's getting older and he's slowing down. He looked a lot slower in his last fight against Tyson Fury than we've seen him in his cruiserweight fights, in his first few heavyweight fights. To go back down to cruiser, I don't want it to be age that defeats him against one of my favorite fighters right now, Jai Opetaia. But yeah, what do you think? Let me know. Comment below. Like, share, subscribe. See you soon.